Hi, my name's Christina. I work at a workers' compensation insurance company in the Lansing, Michigan area. I work in the assigned risk department as a compliance and quality specialist, and I've been in this role for almost 3 years, but I've worked with the company for almost 7 years. Within my current role, I help maintain our digital software systems that house our insurance policy data. Our team reports all system issues that may arise to me, and I try to troubleshoot the issues. If I'm unable to figure out the issue and come up with a resolution, I then open a trouble ticket with our third-party systems vendor and work with them to get the issue resolved. This issue may have been as easy as a few button clicks to fix, or sometimes we need our developers to change the system's code and make enhancements. This can be quite involved, but we're lucky to have an experienced team who's knowledgeable in this field. Previous to my current position, I also was an underwriter, or what most would call a customer service representative. In this role, I processed new policies coming in the door and completed any changes that the policy required. I communicated with our agents and policyholders every day through phone calls and email. I really loved being able to communicate directly with our customers and help them with any questions that they may have had. So you might be asking yourself, what is workers' compensation and why do we have to have it? Well, the Certified Authority of Workers' Compensation cites the origin of modern workers' compensation coming from the times when pirates sailed the seas. With it being such risky work, the ship captains would offer compensation packages for those who were injured on the job. It was a way for the employees to still get paid while they were healing from their injuries. Many of the same principles from this time are still used today. Now, when businesses have employees who get hurt due to a work-related accident, they'll file a claim with their insurance company. There are special ways that we determine the amount of insurance premium to charge. And this is done with the use of class codes. Each type of job has a specific 4-digit classification. With that class code, there is an accompanying rate. Once we determine the appropriate class code to use, we then take the business's rate and multiply it by the amount of payroll they pay out to their employees. This will give us the premium that we charge. Since there are so many moving parts within the insurance company, there are many jobs and roles that help to make sure we're giving our customers the best service possible. We take the responsibility of handling our customers' health very seriously. Here are a few major teams within the company, and I couldn't possibly name them all, so be sure to understand that there are many more that make us successful. First, we have our claims team. They oversee all claims from beginning to end, making sure our customers are receiving the best care possible and making sure each customer receives any lost wage funds due to not being able to work. They also make sure that our customers are getting back to work as quickly and as healthily as possible. Next, we have customer service teams. They handle the day-to-day policy responsibilities like issuing policies, processing policy changes, which are sometimes called endorsements. They process any sort of cancellation for varying reasons, as well as reinstatements. These are the employees who would be answering any phone calls and emails for questions about the coverage of policies. Basically, that's what I used to do. Another important team is the finance team. They handle all monetary obligations, including incoming and outgoing funds. They have quite an important job, and it's a very organized system to be able to keep all checks and balances in place. Next, there are loss prevention services that help the businesses we insure prevent accidents. They will visit the business's physical workplace and ensure that all appropriate safety procedures are being followed. If not, they help the business come up with a plan to get back up to the proper standards of safety. We also have audit teams. They do preliminary and final audits to ensure our policyholders are reporting the correct amount of payroll per each policy period, as well as using the correct class codes. Like I stated earlier, that's how we determine the appropriate amount of premium to charge on our policies. Finally, we have the IT teams. I may be biased, but I think it's the best one. They maintain the back end of the company, making sure that all systems are up and running on a day-to-day basis. There are many different layers that make up IT and many different sub-teams. Within assigned risk, we have teams specially trained on our system because there are many differences in how we handle our systems and issues compared to the voluntary teams. I mentioned earlier that I work on the assigned risk team, and while it's a type of workers' compensation, it's a very niche market, and there are a few stipulations that need to be met in order to be accepted into this market. Assigned risk is defined by Cornell Law School as, quote, a method of providing certain types of insurance to those who otherwise would be denied coverage because they would be considered too high risk, end quote. In other words, they are too undesirable and no insurance company wants to voluntarily insure them. This would include businesses that are new and do not have any risk history to use as leverage to be accepted into the voluntary market. It also would include businesses that have had a lot of losses in the past. In a few major industries that are often needing this type of coverage is roofing, carpentry, and trucking, because it's all considered high-risk work and they have a lot of accidents. Assigned risk has the same fundamentals of the voluntary market, but there are stricter rules set forth by the state bureaus. The bureaus set the rates and they make the rules on endorsements, what's allowed and what isn't, and have extensive manuals that house these rules. The bureaus must assign the policies to the carriers through a pool program. Different carriers bid on a percentage of the pool for each state to be assigned a specific number of policies each year. For example, each carrier writes a bid for the state they would like to write business in, and the state bureaus will review. The carrier with the most enticing bid will win a percentage of the state, and those percentages vary per state. Another important piece of workers' comp in the state bureaus are the mandatory audits that NCCI, the National Council of Compensation Insurance, conducts every few years. They will come visit the carrier's headquarters and spend considerable time reviewing all aspects of the work being done. One additional aspect of our team that others may find interesting is that we've been working on a lot of automations within our system for the past couple years. Working jointly with another team within IT, processes that are repetitive and tedious are programmed to be done by a robot. We call this repetitive process automation, or RPA. Basically, anything that's done in a repetitive manner by clicking the same buttons each time can be automated. As an example, there are documents that get sent over from the bureaus for various different policies each week. The same buttons are pressed each time when uploading these documents to the policy files, and now each time they get sent over, they are automatically uploaded to the policies. That automation is a simpler one, but we have programmed more complex ones as well. It has saved a lot of time and effort for processes that used to need human interaction. These time savings help to allow the policy processors and auditors more time to work on complex issues and activities that are not candidates for automation. So, I mentioned the types of teams that help keep workers' comp insurance companies running smoothly, and I can't speak for all companies, but ours has a dedicated and knowledgeable team to keep up with our thousands of policies. I was able to interview a few people on our team, and I wanted to share a few of their stories and testimonials. Insurance companies can sometimes get a bad rap for being, more boring work, and our dedicated team has made amazing careers in this industry, and I wanted to shed some light on them. To start, we have Mark. He's the assigned risk audit manager and has worked at our company for 4 years. During his career, he has worked primarily in finance, focused on reconciling for assigned risk, as well as another one of our brands. While still working in finance, he was a part of a group that helped with system enhancements and automations to create efficiencies throughout the department. Through these projects, he gained knowledge on assigned risk as a whole, and in 2020 he became the audit manager for our team. When asked what Mark finds rewarding about this business, he answered, quote, "As a manager, the most rewarding part of this industry is watching individuals grow and develop their niche in the insurance industry as a whole. There are a lot of people that come out of college with degrees that don't necessarily line up well with jobs that are available in the market, and they end up in some of the entry-level positions on our team. This ends up creating a diverse group of people with extremely diverse educational and career backgrounds, which really makes for an interesting workplace. I like to think that our company as a whole helps people find rewarding career-long opportunities that they never would have thought of. I mean, who thinks coming out of high school or college that they're going to work in insurance?" End quote. Next is Christina, and not me, there's another Christina on our team. She's a senior compliance and quality specialist and has worked in the assigned risk industry for her entire career, which is going on 15 years. She's had many hats, from processing policies to maintaining the compliance of the department. When asked what she finds rewarding about this industry, she stated, quote, "I'm constantly challenged in this industry. Even though insurance is definitely not something people think of as exciting, there's a lot on the system side of things that require investigative work, which is fun for me to figure out what is causing the problem or to find a better, more efficient way of doing something. I like working with teams to gain their insight, especially hearing about challenges they have and coming up with solutions to make their work better and easier. They are the people out there doing the work, talking with customers. They have the best idea on what needs improvement." End quote. Finally, there's Matt. He's the manager of policy operations and has worked in this field for 5 years and is going on 8 years with the company. He was a customer service processor before starting his management position. When asked what the most rewarding part of this industry is, he stated, quote, "I feel loyal to this company as they've treated me well. I also find it rewarding to work with my people directly every day and help them with the small problems they come across on a daily basis. As far as insurance goes, the industry has a bad reputation in general, but it can be rewarding to help a customer understand their policy or get something taken care of with their policy that was perhaps causing them distress." End quote. A career in insurance is often dubbed to be boring, but finding a niche like assigned risk has offered many people stable and satisfying careers. Workers' compensation has an interesting history, but has evolved into a necessary role in ensuring workers are getting the best possible benefits after getting hurt on the job. Servicing policies for businesses who could not otherwise get coverage is something that I find incredibly rewarding. Understanding class codes, rates, and general rules of the industry is all in a day's work for us. I hope you enjoyed this overview of what assigned risk is and how our department is structured. Thank you for listening.